have you ever wondered how the Chinese Revolution of 1911, a game-changing event in East Asia, influenced the Indian nationalist leaders halfway across the world? In the early 20th century, a significant revolution was brewing in the heart of East Asia. This was the Chinese Revolution of 1911, a groundbreaking event that not only transformed China, but also had far-reaching implications for the entire world. This revolution was a seismic shift in China's political landscape, overthrowing the Qing dynasty, the last imperial dynasty of China, and establishing the Republic of China, marking the end of over 2,000 years of imperial rule. The revolution aimed to establish a democratic and constitutional government, abolish feudalism, and bring about social and economic reforms. Its successful execution demonstrated the power of a collective people's movement, igniting a spark of inspiration for nationalist movements in other parts of the world. But what was the global impact of this revolution? Well, the events that unfolded in China did not stay confined within its borders. The revolution resonated far and wide, sparking a ripple effect on nationalist movements across Asia. It was a beacon of hope and a symbol of resistance against foreign domination and imperial rule. For countries like India, still under the colonial yoke of the British Empire, the Chinese Revolution served as a potent example of what could be achieved through unity, determination, and the will of the people. It fueled the aspirations of Indian nationalists, inspiring them to envision a free and independent India. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 was indeed a turning point in history, a catalyst for change that transcended geographical boundaries, influencing political ideologies and movements in the farthest corners of the world. It was not just a revolution, it was the convergence of revolutions, with its waves of change reaching shores far beyond China. So how did this wave of revolution travel from China to India, and in what ways did it influence the Indian nationalist leaders? What were the key takeaways for Indian nationalists from this momentous event in world history? Now, let's delve into how this wave of revolution traveled from China to India, influencing its nationalist leaders. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 was a monumental event that ended over 2 millennia of imperial rule and ushered in a new era of republicanism. The revolution was a turning point in world history, marking the end of China's Qing dynasty and the beginning of the Republic of China. The revolution was a culmination of various factors: economic instability, corruption, and the inability of the Qing government to modernize and address the needs of its people. Sun Yat-sen, a key figure of the revolution, founded the Tongmenghui, a revolutionary group that played a significant role in the overthrow of the Qing dynasty. Sun's three principles of the people, nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood, became the ideological foundation of the revolution, steering China towards a new political path. The revolution was not just a political upheaval, it was an ideological shift. The monarchy that held sway over China for over 2,000 years was replaced by a republic. The people who were previously subjects became citizens. This shift from monarchy to republicanism was a radical change in the way the Chinese perceived their place in society and the state. It was a revolution of ideas and ideologies. The revolution also saw the rise of new intellectual movements. Scholars and thinkers began to question traditional Chinese values and philosophies, looking towards Western ideologies for inspiration. This intellectual revolution played a crucial role in shaping modern China. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 was a watershed moment, not just for China, but for the whole world. It served as a beacon of hope for other nations under colonial rule, demonstrating that change was possible. It was a testament to the power of the people and the strength of their ideas. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 was not only a political revolution, but also a revolution of ideas and ideologies. It was a revolution that changed the course of Chinese history and left an indelible mark on the world. The echoes of this revolution can still be heard today, as we continue to grapple with the ideas and ideologies that it brought to the fore. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 did not happen in isolation. Its impact was felt far beyond the borders of China. This monumental event resonated powerfully in the hearts and minds of Indian nationalist leaders who were fighting their own battle against British colonial rule. The Chinese Revolution was not merely a change of political power. It was a societal transformation, a forceful overthrow of an ancient monarchy that had ruled for centuries. This was a testament to the fact that even deeply entrenched systems could be challenged and changed. This realization sparked a new wave of hope and determination among Indian leaders. At the heart of the Chinese Revolution was the concept of people's power. The revolution was a clear demonstration that the collective will of the people could topple even the mightiest of empires. This idea deeply resonated with Indian nationalists who were striving to mobilize the masses against British rule. The revolution served as a powerful example of the potential of people's power, invigorating the Indian struggle for independence. Moreover, the Chinese Revolution brought forth the idea of nationalism based on cultural identity rather than political boundaries. This idea of cultural nationalism was a significant influence on Indian leaders, who sought to unite the diverse people of India into a single national identity. It fostered a sense of unity and common purpose, strengthening the Indian freedom movement. The Chinese Revolution also influenced the strategy of the Indian freedom struggle. The revolution's non-violent approach, which led to the peaceful transition of power, inspired Indian leaders to adopt a similar path. This led to the development of the principle of ahimsa, or non-violence, which became a cornerstone of the Indian independence movement. In essence, the Chinese Revolution of 1911 was a beacon of hope for Indian nationalist leaders. It inspired them to envision a future where India was free from British rule, where the people held the power, and where cultural diversity was celebrated, not suppressed. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 served as a beacon of hope for Indian nationalist leaders, illuminating the path towards independence. Indian nationalist leaders were deeply influenced by the Chinese Revolution of 1911, drawing lessons and inspiration from the East. Among these leaders, figures such as Subhash Chandra Bose stand out. Bose, often referred to as Netaji, admired the Chinese Revolution's success in overthrowing a long-established monarchy. This showed him the power of a united and determined populace, an idea that he incorporated into his own strategies for fighting British colonial rule in India. Moving to other prominent figures, Jawaharlal Nehru, the future first Prime Minister of India, was another leader profoundly influenced by the Chinese Revolution. He saw in it the potential of Asian nations to rise against oppressive forces. For Nehru, the Chinese Revolution was a testament to the fact that Asian countries too could shape their own destinies. This belief would later fuel his efforts to champion the non-aligned movement during the Cold War period. The influence of the Chinese Revolution also reached the shores of South India, inspiring leaders like C. Rajagopalachari. Known as Rajaji, he was deeply moved by the revolutionary spirit of the Chinese people. He saw in their struggle a reflection of the Indian desire for self-rule. These leaders and many others were inspired by the Chinese Revolution's spirit of nationalism, its emphasis on self-reliance, and its demonstration of the power of the masses. They incorporated these lessons into their strategies, using them as a source of motivation in their own fight against British rule. The Chinese Revolution was not just a political upheaval, it was a beacon of hope for oppressed nations around the world. It was a testament to the power of the people when united under a common cause. It was an affirmation of the possibility of change even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Thus, the Chinese Revolution of 1911 served as a guiding light for Indian nationalist leaders. It provided them with a roadmap, a blueprint for their own struggle for independence. It showed them that change was possible, that oppression could be overcome, and that the dream of self-rule was within their reach. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 was a source of inspiration for Indian nationalist leaders who saw in it a model for their own struggle for independence. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 left a lasting legacy on the Indian nationalist movement, shaping its trajectory and outcomes. This monumental event in world history was more than just a political upheaval in China. It was an inspiration that traversed geographical boundaries and time, impacting the course of India's struggle for freedom. The Chinese Revolution demonstrated the power of unified public sentiment in overthrowing a centuries-old dynasty. This unprecedented feat, achieved by a nation in the East, was a beacon of hope for Indian nationalists who were grappling with the yoke of British colonialism. The most tangible impact of the Chinese Revolution on India was perhaps its influence on India's decision to become a democratic republic. The revolution's success in establishing a republic in China, a country with no prior experience of democracy, ignited the belief among Indian leaders that a democratic republic was feasible in India as well. This belief was not unfounded. The Chinese Revolution gave birth to a republic that, despite its initial challenges, managed to sustain itself. This reinforced the conviction among Indian leaders that democracy, with its inherent principles of equality, freedom and justice, was the ideal form of government for a nation as diverse as India. Moreover, the Chinese Revolution had a profound impact on the strategies adopted by Indian nationalists. The revolution underscored the effectiveness of mass movements and civil disobedience as tools of resistance. This insight greatly influenced the tactics of Indian resistance against British rule, with mass movements and civil disobedience becoming cornerstones of the Indian freedom struggle. But the legacy of the Chinese Revolution in India extends far beyond its influence on the country's political landscape. The revolution's ethos of self-reliance and its emphasis on education and social reform resonate with India's ongoing efforts to uplift its marginalized communities and bridge socio-economic disparities. The Chinese Revolution of 1911 continues to inspire and inform the Indian nationalist movement, a testament to its enduring influence and legacy. Its echoes can be heard in the corridors of Indian democracy even today, reminding us of the indomitable spirit of resistance and the power of collective action.